you so much for coming on the podcast. It's Margret Sigurdardottir, right? Did I say that correct?
Yeah.
Am I missing a word in the middle?
Yeah, Juliana.
Juliana.
I added that actually myself a few years ago.
So say your name and then explain the three names, what they mean.
Yeah, Margret, just Margaret.
Sure.
Juliana. It's easy on the tongue, so I thought it's good to have one. No, actually it wasn't because of that. It's Sigurdardottir is my father's first name is Sigurdur, and we have this tradition in Iceland.
Yes.
In Iceland of being named after our fathers. Some name their children after their mothers, but most often it's like that. And but when I was born, Sigurdur was one of the most common male names for my father's generation, and Margret was one of the most common names for. So there were a lot of Margret Sigurdardottir, and I was my previous career was as a singer, a musician, and you know, people were, you know, there were other Margarets getting my salaries, or you know, this is getting sometimes confusing. So I always wanted to add a name. Then I found out that my great-grandmother, who was called Margret, I was named after my grandmother, and she was named after her. She had this name, Margret Juliana. Okay. So that's the story of the name.
No, that's great. Names are important, right? And it's fun to kind of know the background of the name, where it came from. And so thank you. That's great.
There's some DNA in it.
Yeah. No, they're really, well, especially when it comes to Icelandic names. You're never quite sure. You know, the last name is pretty straightforward for most people because, like you said, it's your father's name. But the other pieces are different, so I always love asking about it. So thank you very much. So you've had a really interesting career, and so what I thought we'd do is just kind of start out with your story, right? Because you started out with vocal performance, right? The Royal Academy of Arts, did extremely well. What was the top honor again? The what's it called?
The degree, the honorary degree. Okay. Are you talking about my prize? No. No. Yeah, I finished the postgraduate studies at the Royal Academy of Music in London, and but my musical career had been very versatile all throughout. Since I was a kid, I played by ear, and I played in bands, and I played piano, and I was also studying classical piano. Okay. And then I started studying composition when I was older, and some, all of these things somehow mixed together. And then I decided to go to London and pursue the vocal career, or actually more. My agenda was maybe more to get a good degree and good education in music. Okay. And I was not necessarily aiming for this living in a suitcase kind of lifestyle. I was quite aware of that would not suit me. But this was, you know, but then we had, everything was like blossoming financially, and you know, we got a little bit, what do you say, got the illusion that things would be, you know, like when I was graduating in 2004, if someone died in my family, distant relative, they just flew me over to sing in the funeral. Not because I was such a star, but it was just so cheap. Sure. You know, and I was at the time also singing a bit with Björk. Yes. And Sigur was also, we were a little vocal group. We performed with her, and in London and Paris, and somehow I just thought, okay, I'll just move back to Iceland and I'll just operate from there, do my musical, compose music and do stuff, and I'll just fly around as I need to, you know. Yeah. And then reality bit me nicely. I had my daughter in 2007, and then I also had bought a house or an apartment that was totally molded. It was moldy, yes. Yeah. This is very dangerous. So suddenly it was like, okay. And at the time I was working as singing in funerals, like with this chamber group, and I was probably buried like 400 Icelanders or approximately.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for that.
No, that's what I was going to say. You're not responsible. You assisted in the yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I was also working at the radio in Iceland, and I was working like 24/7. And so I was thinking at the time, okay, my sort of this freelancing business is probably never going to be more blossoming than it is now. But I couldn't make ends meet, and so I just took a very strategic decision to pursue some other arenas. So I became an entrepreneur, which is not many people would support that.
Was something you mentioned, was it an attorney friend who kind of mentioned you'd be good with this or something like that, or how did that happen?
Yeah, when you look back, there are these things, you feel like you were totally going here. But,
yes, yeah.
But then actually, the one you're referring to is, I remember when I was in London, a friend of mine came to me or we were talking about something, I was telling him about something, and he said, Margret, you should be a manager. Manager, no interest in that.
Yeah, yeah.
And, but, looking back, I actually was an entrepreneur when I was like 16 or something. I got my younger brother, who's actually with me in my business today.
Oh, nice.
He was like 13 or something, 13 or 17. And we decided to grow organic potatoes. And we rented this huge field, and bought potatoes, and we put it all down, and we were going to be like the first real retailer of organic potatoes, because they were not really easy to find here at the time. And then this was a lot of work, and then when we'd done that, we saw that, okay, there's not a chance in heaven that we're going to be here every day, picking up this wheat. So
it's a lot of work.
So we thought, okay, we'll just let it grow and see what comes out of it. And when we came there, a few weeks later, it was there was much more of something else than potatoes in there. So it's like a very simple and good lesson for life, It's not only putting down the potatoes, you have to attend to garden.
You have to manage it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
entrepreneur, 17, organic potatoes.
Yeah.
What else? So that was kind of the first entrepreneurial venture. Then, when people keep mentioning, you'd be good doing managing, you'd be good doing stuff, and then, so how did you? Yeah, I mean, there's still a big jump from performing, right, doing this, to creating a business. I mean, it's just a little bit different, isn't it? So tell me how you, and again, I've said this on other podcasts and stuff, is there are a lot of people who do a lot of work and get up to the starting line, but they never start. Right? They have to get through that. So explain how that first thing went. So you decided, you know what, I'm going to do my own business. How did that morph? How did you develop that? Yeah,
well, this was maybe not such a, the decision came from inside. I remember I called the University of Iceland with my daughter being like a toddler, and asked them, if I would become a business person later or wanted to learn business, as a master, which courses do I have to take to prepare myself for that? And they said, well, you can just apply for it, and then they valued it, and it turned out that I actually was, they accepted me for the master's in business and management. And I took a few courses, but it wasn't the right time for me. So I think maybe this sort of decision I think when you decide something, it starts
bringing in the universe and everything.
Exactly, And then I got a call from a woman called Hallfríður Ólafsdóttir, who sadly passed away. But she had created this symphonic mouse called Maximus Musicus, and she asked me to join her on a venture with that, as in bringing it out of Iceland.
To the public, sure. Okay.
Out of Iceland,
Okay.
It was already popular in Iceland as a symphonic program and a book. And so I just did that, not knowing anything, just jumped into deep water and learned to swim somehow. But when we started thinking of how it's actually going to make real money, so that we can actually get something out of this, then I thought that making a educational game would be a thing. And but then we parted. She was like working in the symphony, playing in the symphony orchestra, and had a blossoming musical career. So understandably, she wasn't ready for big ventures. And I was kind of, so we split it. But I continued developing this idea that then later turned into my own company called Mozilla. And then I'm there, and that company was I left there in 2020, and it was a great experience. It was a global product. It was app of the day and got quite well known, but it's a challenging business to sell an application for children that is educational.
Yes.
It's
very much so.
Yeah.
You have to be quite in the know, or know the right people to do it, or be big enough. Is it the big companies, or how does that work when in selling to schools?
No, this was not when I was there. I was aiming for the commercial market.
A commercial, okay.
Yeah. I think maybe it's always easy to be wise in the hindsight, but I think if I was doing this company myself, I would do many things differently now. But it is really tricky because you have such a delicate gap. It's such a delicate age. The children are progressing so fast, but then you also have this musical talent, which is very diverse between people, and to hit the sweet spot, with each and every one of them is tricky. And then you have these parents just giving the devices to the children, buying themselves some keys, and rather than being with them, which is kind of neat when you have educational apps for kids, I think.
Okay, makes sense. So what did you learn from that venture?
Oof, everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Really?
No, of course not. Everything I know, I learned a lot. I think I learned. There were many. I think I'm very, very grateful for that experience, even if it was maybe challenging at times, and it's hard to lead your own company as well. Something you created, and someone else is taking over that you may not feel is the right person for it. But the experience was invaluable, totally, and helps me in my current business as well.
So really what it was is you're in your own business with other partners, and they decided to take it in a direction that you didn't want to take it, and you felt it was time to exit the company.
It wasn't maybe not so simple, but it's difficult to talk about it. I'm kind of
It was painful.
No, not that. It's more like a confidentiality.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. So, you had a parting of the waves, right? So you learned a lot about working with people, whether you want to work with people or not. Working with the right people, I assume, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the main.
And so, you did that. You exited the company, and you started. You started Moombix, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, what skill set or what did you use from the prior company to get to the new company?
Sorry?
So, you're starting another business.
Yeah.
So you learned a lot in the first two ventures.
Yeah.
And the third venture is the one, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And but so when you start up your next venture, it's like, I already know this and this and this. What are the pieces that really helped you start the next venture? It can either be, business-wise, or it can be personal-wise, it can be anything.
So many things. First of all, I think what I truly feel like is maybe the most important part is is to not to allow the business to take over my life completely.
Okay.
And I think the sacrifice is just too much, but at the same time, it's, you know, of course, it is a bit, you know, you get a bit obsessive or something, and that is fun and driving you to do hopefully great things. But I think it's really important to attend family and, you know, try to.
So how do you strike that work-life balance?
I hardly do it at these days, but I kind of I try just to set myself some rules.
Okay.
You know, I don't always follow them, but.
So what are the rules?
I mean, not to work in the evening.
Okay.
Take at least one day off to do something else. And and actually this do something else is actually very important also for the company. I often get best ideas when I'm just vacuuming.
So your creative process kind of, when you have fun over here, it translates into more ideas over there?
And also just doing physical things, you know, paint the kitchen. Or, you know, I'm very energetic physically, and I like, it's also rewarding to see results, immediate, you know.
I understand that. Yes. When I fix something, it's like it's done.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you build something, I built that.
Exactly.
This is really good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I think that's, for me, that is important.
Yeah, because when you're building a business, it takes a long time to see results a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like when you're managing, like these last days, we are launching a product. We're also in talks with investors, and then we have new people coming in, and it's like you're pushing, you know, all the time. So and you know, the results are not, you know, you will get.
Takes time.
It's like a gradient process a lot of the time. But and I also do painting, also just artwork. I also like doing that.
Okay.
It was actually a advice from my friend who was a doctor. Who was like, this was like 10 years ago or something. I was like hyper stressed about everything. And she advised me to just take like 15 minutes or half an hour just to do exactly what you want to do. You know, allow yourself this moment of peace, you know, and freedom. And that was a good advice, I think.
So, and that was painting?
Yeah.
So did you just go out and buy a canvas and some paints, or how did that start?
Yeah, or I started actually drawing illustrations and do some painting. And
was that just a niggling inside, kind of like an urge to do it, to do paint? Because, you know, you're singing over here, and it doesn't mean you can't have both, but a lot of times you think, I would think you'd kind of focus in this area when you want to have something fun, because, well, you were singing, so it must be fun, regardless of whether it was, and doing it around, but you ended up doing painting over here. So have you always done painting, and it's just one of those things that you decided to do?
Yeah, I liked art when I was in school, but it was not, I don't know. I mean, a big part of my work is designing also. In like the software, I do a lot of food design.
Okay.
But no, I think it's about this, you know, this is my moment. I'm just, you know, I'm just here and doing this, you know.
You're in the present moment.
Kind of just, you know, exactly.
Okay. And do you do that every day, or just when you feel like it, or how does that work?
No, not every day, but every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that brings energy back into the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that makes sense.
I recommend it.
Yeah, no, I brought that into my own life, to tell the truth. You know, through all my experiences, I got rid of a bunch of things, and I try to go dancing every Wednesday night.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And it's my happy place right now. So.
Yeah.
So that's something just for me, nobody else.
I do it in the kitchen.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah.
you paint, well, when you say kitchen, you
I
mean
mean
painting your
I mean
kitchen or you
dancing.
mean actual cooking?
I'm dancing.
Oh, you dance in the kitchen,
Yeah.
okay. What kind of dancing do you like?
I used to be in ballet before,
Oh, okay.
and I just, I'm not talking about the same, if you put on music with a good beat, why stay still?
I agree. Okay. No, that's fun. That's well, it's doing something just for you too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so,
Along with cooking, of course.
I like cooking.
Yeah.
Actually, I find it it's relaxing for me.
Yeah.
I don't do it nearly enough. Usually, if I'm going to cook, I cook on a Sunday
Yeah.
to make enough food for the rest of the week.
Yeah, that's
But it's just me, so
yeah.
it's a little bit different. My daughter's away at school, so. But I find that's relaxing too, the cooking.
Yeah.
And so are you happy?
Yeah, I am.
So what is it about your life you're very happy about?
I am just very happy that my daughter is happy and doing well in what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I met my partner 3 years ago.
Nice.
I think it's almost to date that we started going out today.
Oh, congratulations.
Today.
Thank you for being here instead of there.
Yeah, well, maybe today, it was 25th or 26th or something, I can't remember exactly. But yeah, and he's great. We are very, very happy getting married this summer.
Congratulations.
And, but yeah, I think it also gives me pleasure to feel, I feel like at least some of the days, I feel like I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
And that's a good feeling to.
So is it that, let's talk about, are you happy with your entrepreneurial venture?
Yeah.
Because it kind of uses your skill set and your talents, and it's a challenge, and so that's fun, right?
Absolutely, and I think it was actually a very good choice. I think it actually fits my personality much better than being a musician.
If you notice, my questions deal a lot with work-life balance and happiness, because I find a lot of people do everything right, only to end up, it's like, well, I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm passionate about and stuff like that, but just anything.
I would say that a lot of people say, follow your dream or that sort of thing. And I think it's also about just do well what you're doing, and then it gives you pleasure. I mean, it wasn't my dream to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, to do education, ed tech, I guess we call it.
Yeah, or lifestyle tech. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're kind of seeing. We're kind of saying that music is like for everyone.
It is.
It's like a part of the oxygen. That we breathe. Not part of the oxygen. It's
part of life.
Part of life. Yeah.
You need it just like you need oxygen.
Yes. That's basically what I want to say. I think that's maybe, and also just accept the fact that you will never have all the threads in your hand. You have to just trust that life sort of takes you
takes you where you want to do.
Yeah.
It gives you what you need.
Yeah. And also, I think it's good to define what you need.
Okay.
I did that before.
How does a person define what they need, or how do they figure that out?
Well, like at this point when this sort of journey, this shift happened, is I think it was, I confronted myself what I needed. I needed more financial stability.
Yes.
I wanted, I was a single mom, but with a huge family to support, and everything is, I wasn't alone in the world, not at all. But I also, that experience, that also sort of, emphasized that I wanted a family.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted actually wanted more children.
Oh.
Got them.
Okay. Yeah, 3.
Yeah. and you know what was important to me, and I wanted my daughter to have a safe upbringing and not this endless struggle. This sort of that was a very
important to you.
Yeah.
To do that, and you will measure your success based upon a little bit about how you did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and enjoy that. Enjoy the journey. So,
Enjoy it. Are you allowed to enjoy the journey? Are you allowed to enjoy the journey?
Am I allowed to?
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. No, it's the only journey you have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes perfect sense why you'd want to enjoy it,
Yeah.
because there is no end point. I mean, I haven't found. Have you found an end point? I haven't really found an end point.
It's someone told me once that like death is you're always 5 seconds away from death, and if you confront death, then
I don't know if I like that. That scares me.
Yeah, but
5 seconds away from death. Okay.
I mean you can walk down the street and a car comes
Absolutely,
crashing down.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just enjoy the moment and do well what you do. Of course, try not to run in front of a car, but
Yeah. Yes.
But it's sometimes I think about it if I worry about the future or worry about how things are
Well, I
going.
agree. You need to enjoy what you're doing now, because tomorrow is never guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Good.
It's a really dark.
Yeah. That
ending
is
to
dark.
this.
But isn't what? No, actually, if you think about it, I don't look at it as dark, because it gives people license to start doing what they need to do.
Exactly.
Because if you're always thinking, you know what, I'm going to work hard for 20 or 30 years and then enjoy my life,
Yeah.
by saying, well, you might not be around tomorrow, well, maybe I should enjoy my life now. Maybe I should actually start doing what I feel, inner says I should do. What are my needs? Why don't I go after that and do it now? So it actually gives them license.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's positive.
Yeah.
We can end on a positive note.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Jewel. Margret. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Likewise.
And I love your unique journey, how you kind of went like this through, and it's just working through things until you find something that works. And I appreciate going in depth. Whatever you're doing, do it to the best of your ability, because chances are you'll enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, good. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.